Hey kindergarten, today we're going to be working on this piece of paper, pretty big piece of paper, and you'll notice that you've already got your name written on it. I've written your name for this project, so all you have to do is turn that paper over, and you want it in front of you this direction. So you've got this nice big long area here, and your first job is going to be to choose a crayon, any color of crayon from that box. Once you've got your crayon, you can show me that you're ready to start working with it by keeping it flat on your paper, because here's what we're going to end up doing with it. Second, you're going to hear some music get played, and your job is to use that crayon, and you are going to make lines on this paper that kind of remind you of what you're hearing with the music. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So that was my first line. It's kind of tough to see, but I used pink, and it's not really a picture of anything, but I've got a dotted line, and it's kind of curvy and squiggly as well. So now I'm going to have to choose another crayon, and I'm going to get ready for the next song that's going to come up. So make sure once you've got your crayon chosen, leave it flat on the table. If you have a crayon like this where, oops, there's no crayon left, we're going to have to peel some of that paper off. I'll show you how to do that right now. These crayons can be kind of a tricky thing sometimes, so if you ever get one and the paper has to be peeled off, it's totally an okay thing. Just use your thumbnail to kind of peel a little bit of it off. You don't have to take the wrapper all the way off, we just need enough for an edge. So, I am ready for my next song. Alright, that was my second line. I'm going to choose a new crayon again of a different color, and I think this time I'm going to go with the purple. And I'm kind of sort of starting to fill up my paper with my lines. Now, make sure you're not going crazy with it. Your arm should be doing the same movement that the song is kind of sounding like. So we don't want anything real crazy going all over the place. If you got crayon creeping over there on the table, you're probably a little out of control. So bring it back in, and let's get ready for our third song. That crayon goes away, and I'm going to choose a new color for our fourth and final song. Back at the table now, I've got my strips, and here's what we're going to end up doing with them. It's our first day in art, so it's not a big deal. If things don't work out perfectly, we're just going to take these strips and we're going to do a little bit of folding. But I'm going to move my camera down so you can see this folding process a little bit better. A little bit better view here. And all I'm really doing is just kind of giving these things some folds. Doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to line up. All I'm really doing is just kind of bending my paper all sorts of directions and getting some nice creases in there. Creases are these pieces where I pinched my fingers, my little pincher fingers, and pulled them across so I've got a nice edge on there. Each time you do one of those strips, open it back up like this, set it aside, set it aside, and I'm going to do the same thing with my last three strips. So when you see them again, I'll have these ones all folded up, and then we're going to put them all together. Okay, I'm going to be using some black paper for this next step, and just like before, I've already got your name written on your black paper for you. It might be a little hard to see mine on the video clip, but everybody will have their name down in a corner. And just like before, flip it over, but this time we want it in front of you like this. We should have a long side on top and a long side on the bottom. And here's what we're going to end up doing. Each table has a bottle of glue for each person. To open our glue bottle, up here, we're just going to twist to open that glue bottle up. And if you listen, You can hear air when I squeeze it gently. If air comes out, then glue is going to come out. And what we're going to end up doing is we're going to glue our pieces of paper kind of up in the air like this, which means we're only going to need glue here and here. Now watch how I do this. Whenever we use glue in here, we always talk about dot, dot, not a lot. And all that really means is I actually need about 1 dot of glue to make this piece of paper stick. There's my dot. And I'm going to take my paper, push down over here, and I'm going to push, and I'm going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that should be pretty sticky. Now I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. There's my dot. And I'm going to stick it down right about here, I think. And I'm going to get my fingers down there, and I'm going to push. I'm going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's my first strip. Now I'm going to repeat that with all of these pieces. And we're going to see what I end up with. I think this one is going to look kind of cool glued right here, just like that. So I'm going to do a dot. This is a pretty big piece, so maybe 2 dots on this one. And push, count to 4. And another dot, maybe 2 on this side. 1, 2. And whoa, that one got away from me. Hey, look at that. Hold it, count to 4. 2, 3, 4. Alright, I'm going to turn my paper a little bit now. Do the same thing here with this one. Dot of glue. So when we're gluing these, we want to make sure that our lines, our crayon, are on the side that's facing up. So I don't want to glue this one like that because then we won't see any of my crayon. But since I want this piece to kind of loop over like this, it's still going to work. Whoops. Alright, I'm going to glue this piece over another piece. I'm going to actually glue this one so it's kind of like a bridge going over the top of this piece, like that. There's my dot, bigger piece, so I'm going to use 2 dots and stick it down. 2, 3, 4. Almost done. Last piece. Let's see, I think I'm going to glue this one just like that. Let's do this. We're almost done. 2 dots. 1, 2, dot, dot, not a lot. I'm going to stick it down right there. And I'm going to have to stretch this one all the way over the top so I can add my glue on this side and stick it down. Here we go. Dot, dot, not a lot. And stick it. Count 4. Awesome. Let's take a closer look at this project. You just made your first project, and we have a lot of lines. We have the lines that we made with crayon, but believe it or not, when we cut these strips on the paper cutter, they actually made bigger, thicker lines. These lines that were folded into the paper when you pinched it with your fingers, also lines, and we are no longer flat. We've got all this stuff sticking up off the paper. Fun word that we'll talk about a lot later in art, but this is called three-dimensional because now it's no longer flat, but it's actually coming up off of the paper. So let's set that aside, and now we got to take care of this glue. Let's make sure that glue bottle gets closed. So gently wind down the top by turning it. You shouldn't be able to squeeze it and hear any more air. Now I'm going to show you where to put these bottles of glue. They go over there, right by sink number 1. Make sure you're walking when you put your glue bottles away. And they certainly don't go like that. We don't toss them in there. We set them in there so all of these orange lids are facing upward.